Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're looking at something a little different, some pretty unique material.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a recording and notes from a Doctor of Business Administration course, a DBA at National Cheng Kung University and CKU in Taiwan.
Yeah, and it gets even more interesting.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
like we're getting a behind-the-scenes look at how Professor Wu Xiang-sun,
Okay,
he's from Yuanzhi University,
gotcha.
and he guides these NCKU students in using their real-world business experience
Right.
for serious research.
So it's not just theory, right?
Yeah, not at
It's
all.
taking all that practical knowledge from your career
Exactly.
and somehow,
Turning it in.
turning it into something academically rigorous. Yeah.
Yeah, and Wu's got this really structured approach.
Okay.
He breaks down the whole research process into three main categories of case studies,
Okay.
each with its own level of complexity
Okay.
and even point value for the DBA program.
Points.
Yeah, points.
Now you got my attention. So tell me about these different types of case studies.
Okay, so the most challenging ones, these are worth a hefty 9 points.
9 points.
Yeah, 9 points. These are the academic case studies.
Wow. This must be pretty intense.
They are. Wu explains that, first of all, you need a deep understanding of existing academic theory.
Right. Got to know the basics.
But then you have to go beyond that. You
Right.
got to find the gaps, the
There's
weaknesses.
holes in the theory.
Exactly. The places where the theory falls short,
Ah.
and then you use a specific case to
Oh, right.
actually explore your findings.
So it's like you're saying, here's what the experts say,
Yeah,
but here's where I see things differently
exactly.
based on, what I've experienced.
Right, on the ground.
Yeah.
To give you an example, Wu uses the concept of born global companies.
Oh, interesting.
These are companies that are, international right from the very beginning.
from day one.
Yeah, think tech startups,
Hmm.
launching apps globally, or businesses built around digital products, without any geographic limits.
That's a great example. I mean, it's so relevant today
Right.
in this interconnected world where physical borders,
Don't matter as much.
yeah, for certain businesses, they don't matter as much.
Absolutely. Now the next level down.
Good.
This one's worth 6 points.
All right, so slightly less intense.
A little bit. Yeah, it's the long-form case study.
Okay.
And this is more in line with that classic Harvard Business School style.
Right, I was just thinking about those.
But there are some added requirements.
So if I'm picturing those Harvard case studies,
Mm.
they're like deep dives into a company facing some tough challenge, right?
Exactly. And what Wu adds is this need to incorporate research frameworks,
Okay.
methods, or viewpoints.
Give it that academic,
A rigor, yeah.
yeah, that rigor.
He uses the example of Far Eastern Electronic Toll Collection,
Oh, wow.
or FETC, the company behind Taiwan's electronic toll system,
Oh, yeah.
to illustrate this.
Yeah. I remember when they first introduced that system,
Yeah.
it was a total game changer for driving in Taiwan.
It was.
So what's the research angle in that case?
Well, Wu points out that the case revolves around FETC's digital transformation.
Interesting.
They're not just an electronic toll company anymore.
Right, so much more now.
They're moving into smart parking,
Aye.
integrating with insurance, using vehicle data, and so much more.
Wow.
So the case study would need to analyze this shift.
That is a serious transformation.
It is.
Okay, 6 points for tackling that one.
Yeah.
What about the final case study type? The three-pointer.
That would be what Wu calls the scenario-based case study.
Oh.
And this one is all about storytelling.
Okay, now this sounds interesting. I love a good story.
Me too. Wu really emphasizes crafting a compelling narrative.
Right.
Using dialogue, creating, a real page-turner
Uh-huh.
that draws the reader into a business dilemma.
Okay.
He even shares one of his own cases, titled Flagship Project Loses Its Shine, as an example.
Flagship Project loses its shine. That title alone has me hooked.
I know, right?
What went wrong? Why did it lose its shine?
Exactly. Wu's point is that these cases need to showcase human decision-making,
Okay.
the emotional core of the choices, not just the financial side.
I mean, that's so important.
It is.
Sometimes the best business lessons come from understanding that why behind the decisions.
The motivation.
Yeah, not just the what.
Absolutely. So we've got these three distinct case study styles.
Yes, the 3 different approaches.
And it seems like Wu is really pushing these DBA students to go beyond just summarizing their experiences,
Yeah, to really analyze what they've learned.
He wants them to apply real analytical rigor to what they've learned on the job.
He repeatedly stresses finding the right story from their professional lives.
Yes.
He even encourages them to talk about their past decision-making challenges with professors.
Yeah, to get feedback.
Yeah, to see what frameworks they can build around those situations.
Exactly.
It's like going to your professor and saying, hey, I dealt with this crazy situation at work.
Exactly.
How can we turn this into research gold?
You got it. It's about connecting real-world experience with academic research.
That's brilliant.
And that's where Wu's guidance is so valuable. He's providing a roadmap for these students to transform their practical knowledge into something they can share, contribute to,
Something that can actually have an impact.
Exactly, and build upon.
It makes me wish I had taken Wu's class.
Me too.
But hey, maybe we can learn a thing or two just by exploring these notes you've got.
I think so.
Now, the notes mention AI tools that Wu introduces to his students. Where does that fit into all of this?
That's a great question. So Wu showcases tools like NotebookLM and ChatGPT.
Okay, those are pretty popular these days.
They are, but he really emphasizes that they're just tools, not replacements for critical thinking.
They can help, but they can't do the thinking for you.
Exactly. He shows how they can transcribe, summarize, even translate. There's even a part about using AI to generate storylines.
Wait, AI generating storylines for research? That's pretty mind-blowing.
It is impressive, but Wu's warning is key here.
Okay, what's the warning?
He tells the students to use these tools for inspiration and efficiency,
Right.
but to make sure the final product, reflects their own unique voice and analytical depth.
So it's like having a superpowered research assistant.
Yeah, like a really smart intern.
But you're still the one driving the research
You're the boss.
and making those key decisions.
Exactly.
And there's more, right?
There is. Wu talks about training AI to match a specific writing style.
Wow, seriously?
Like imagine taking your favorite author's work and having AI analyze it
Oh, wow.
to help you write in a similar style.
So you could write like Hemingway if you wanted to.
Haha, exactly. He even mentions having multiple AI tools revise each other's work.
Whoa, it's like AI Fight Club for research papers.
That's a great way to put it.
So we're seeing Wu blend this cutting-edge technology with, this classic case study methodology.
You're bringing it all together.
What else is in these DBA class notes?
Well, there's this fascinating segment on something called fading memories research. Yeah, fading memories research.
Yes, that's intriguing.
It comes from a professor named Bergelman.
Okay.
And he used Intel's exit from the DRAM market back in the 1980s
Really?
to illustrate this idea of strategic business exit.
You mean Intel, the computer chip giant?
Yeah.
They used to be in the memory business.
They did. And Bergelman's research uses that case to explore how and why companies decide to leave a market.
Right.
Even one where they were, really successful.
That makes sense. I mean, businesses have to adapt, right?
Right.
Evolve to stay competitive. But I guess sometimes it's hard to let go of what worked in the past.
It is.
Even if it's not working anymore.
That's exactly what Bergelman's research explores.
Okay.
He highlights how those past successes can actually prevent companies from seeing the need for change.
It's like they're so focused on what worked before that they miss the signs that,
The market's shifting.
Yeah, that the market's shifting.
It's like they're stuck playing yesterday's game.
Yeah. So used to winning that way, they don't realize the rules have changed.
And what Bergelman calls organizational memory plays a big role in this.
Okay, so what is that?
It's this idea that the memory of past triumphs can overshadow the challenges of the present.
Interesting.
So fading memories refers to how those past successes kind of fade in importance.
Compared to the current reality.
Exactly.
I see.
And this connects to another key insight from Bergelman's research.
Okay, what's that?
The role of internal competition.
What do you mean by that?
So as new business opportunities emerge within a company, ones that might be more profitable,
Right. Got to chase those new opportunities.
they often end up competing for resources with older, less dynamic parts of the business.
Makes sense.
Like survival of the fittest,
Yeah.
but within the company itself.
Right. The new exciting ventures get all the attention.
Yeah, all the investment.
While the older ones are left behind.
Precisely. It's a natural dynamic, but it can be problematic if not managed effectively.
Definitely.
And finally, Bergelman talks about the transfer of core competencies.
Okay, so even when a company exits a market, it doesn't mean everything is lost.
Right.
You can still take that knowledge, the skills, the technology you develop.
Apply it elsewhere.
And apply it somewhere else. Yeah.
Intel's case is a perfect example.
So they took their expertise from the DRAM market and applied it to microprocessors, right?
Which, of course, turned out to be incredibly successful.
I mean, it's fascinating how exiting a market, which seems like a failure, can actually set the stage for future success.
It's a great reminder that failure can be valuable if we're open to learning from it.
Yeah. Got to learn from those mistakes.
And speaking of learning, Wu's got some really interesting insights in his class notes about finding those aha moments in case studies.
Those aha moments.
Yeah. The ones where you suddenly understand something in a new way.
It's like a light bulb goes off.
Exact.
They're so crucial for research, especially case studies.
Wu stresses the importance of always asking why.
Why?
Exactly. Why did this company make this particular decision? Why did this strategy succeed or fail?
You got to get to the bottom of it.
And he also encourages comparing different perspectives. Looking for contradictions, conflicts.
Right, where the data doesn't quite fit.
Yeah, and constantly trying to connect theory and practice.
It's like detective work, but for business.
Haha, I love that analogy.
You gather the clues, interrogate the data, piece it all together.
Until that aha moment hits you. And speaking of detective work, Wu also provides this clear procedure.
Oh, there's a procedure.
For tackling a case study.
So it's not just about diving in head first.
No, there's a method.
A method to the madness.
Exactly. First, you need to assess whether a case study is even appropriate.
Right. Not every research question needs a case study.
And whether you can actually access the data you need.
Right. Got to have the information.
Once that's clear, it's all about preparation.
Getting ready.
Making sure you have the right tools, frameworks.
So it's like any big project, right?
It is.
Planning is key.
Planning and preparation are crucial for success.
And then, the real work begins.
Selecting the right case, gathering data.
Interviews, observations.
Document analysis, all those research methods.
Yeah, the nitty-gritty.
It is a lot of work.
But I imagine it's also rewarding.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially when you start to analyze that data and those aha moments start popping up.
That's when the magic happens.
Unearthing those insights. Connecting the dots.
To create a compelling narrative.
And then finally sharing your findings with the world.
Exactly.
Got to get that research out there.
Wu stresses the importance of clear, concise reporting, highlighting the findings and their implications.
That makes sense.
He even touches on the need to ensure the accuracy and reliability of your work.
That's crucial.
He mentions data chains, definition tables, triangulation techniques.
Right. All those methods to make sure the research is solid.
Rock solid.
So it's not just about telling a good story.
No, it's got to be backed up.
It's got to be backed up with evidence.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that brings us to another important point Wu raises.
Okay, what's that?
The need to be aware of our own biases.
Our biases.
As researchers.
Right. We all come in with our own perspectives.
We do.
Our own lenses through which we see the world.
Yeah, and those lenses can definitely influence how we interpret the data.
For sure.
Wu uses the term reflexivity.
Reflexivity.
To describe this process of being aware of our own, positionality, our background, our experiences, and how they might be shaping our thinking.
So recognizing that we're not like these neutral observers.
We're not robots.
We bring our own baggage to the research process.
Baggage, that's a good word for it.
And being aware of that baggage is crucial.
To ensure the validity and objectivity of our findings.
You've got to check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Exactly. Wu encourages his students to constantly reflect on their assumptions, be open to alternative explanations, even seek feedback from others.
Challenge their perspectives.
Yeah, get a fresh set of eyes on it.
It's like having a built-in bullshit detector.
I love that.
Always questioning, always challenging, seeking the truth.
That's the goal.
And one of the best ways to get closer to that truth is through something called member checking.
Member checking, that's a powerful technique.
Okay, I'm not familiar with that term. What is that?
So it involves sharing your findings with the people you studied.
Okay.
The actual participants in your case study.
You go back to them.
And you get their feedback.
Interesting.
So you're saying, hey, this is what I'm seeing in the data.
Does this ring true for you?
Am I missing anything?
Am I off base here?
Exactly. It's about giving them a chance to validate your interpretations.
To clarify.
Or even challenge them.
Makes sense.
It's a way to ensure your findings are accurate and that you're representing their experiences fairly.
It's like a collaboration.
It is.
You're working together to get a more nuanced understanding.
More accurate.
More accurate understanding of what you're studying.
Precisely. And member checking is not just about being respectful.
Right.
It's about improving the quality of your research.
I see.
Their insights can help you identify blind spots.
Things you might have missed.
Correct misinterpretation.
Strengthen your conclusions.
Exactly. It's like having a team of expert consultants.
Working with you to refine your findings.
Precisely.
That makes a lot of sense.
And it highlights how Wu emphasizes collaboration and engagement in the research process.
It's not just a solo mission.
No, it's a team effort.
You're working with people.
He's not just teaching them to be data analysts.
Mm-hmm.
He's teaching them to be thoughtful, ethical researchers.
To really think about the impact of their work.
Sensitive to the complexities of the real world.
It's about going beyond the ivory tower, right?
It is.
Connecting with the people you're studying in a meaningful way.
Absolutely. Now, once you've gathered all that data, checked your biases,
got all that feedback,
incorporated that feedback, it's time to move on to data analysis.
Data analysis, the fun part.
This is where you really start digging in.
Figuring out what it all means.
Exactly. And Wu emphasizes finding the story in the data, but he's also clear that it's not about forcing the data to fix some preconceived narrative.
You've got to let the data speak for itself.
Let it guide you.
So be guided by the evidence, not your own agenda.
Precisely. Wu talks about the importance of immersing yourself in the data.
Spend some time with it.
Get to know its nuances.
Its quirks.
Its patterns.
It's like exploring a new landscape.
I like that.
You have to take the time to understand it.
To really see it.
To discover its hidden valleys, climb its highest peaks.
To grasp its essence.
Exactly.
And Wu emphasizes that data analysis is iterative.
Okay, what does that mean?
It's not about following a linear path.
You might have to go back.
Yeah, you're constantly circling back.
Revisiting your assumptions.
Refining your interpretations as you uncover new insights.
So it's not about getting it right on the first try.
Nope.
It's about embracing the messiness, being willing to adjust course along the way.
Exactly. And one of the tools Wu introduces to help navigate that messiness is this concept of analytic memos.
Analytic memos. What are those?
Think of them as a way to capture your thought process as you're analyzing the data.
So you're not just recording the data itself.
You're documenting your insights.
Your hunches, your aha moments.
Just as they occur.
So it's like a research journal where you can just brainstorm, jot down ideas.
Make sense of what you're seeing.
Let it all out.
Wu encourages his students to treat these memos as a conversation.
A conversation with themselves.
To explore different interpretations.
Test out hypotheses.
Connect the dots.
It's like thinking out loud.
Yeah.
Without worrying about being perfect.
Just getting those thoughts down.
And these memos can be really valuable.
For identifying the key themes and patterns in the data.
Right, because it's not just about collecting a bunch of facts and figures.
No, it's about the meaning.
It's about figuring out what it all means, what story the data is telling.
And Wu encourages his students to look for both convergence and divergence in the data.
Convergence and divergence, what do those mean?
Okay, so convergence is about finding those areas where the data points align.
Where you see similar patterns.
From different sources.
It reinforces your findings.
Strengthens your conclusions.
Like finding those puzzle pieces that fit together perfectly.
Exactly.
Creating a cohesive picture.
But Wu also stresses looking for divergence.
Divergence.
The places where the data contradicts your expectations.
Where it challenges your assumptions.
Yeah.
So it's not about ignoring the data that doesn't fit.
No, you embrace it.
You embrace those anomalies.
And try to understand why they exist.
Why they're there.
Those points of divergence often lead to the most interesting insights.
Oh, really?
The most unexpected discoveries.
So it's like those plot twists in a good movie.
Exactly.
You don't know what's going to happen next.
Keep you on the edge of your seat.
But you're eager to find out.
Wu encourages his students to dig deep into those plot twists.
Explore the why behind those unexpected findings.
Turn those moments into aha moments.
I love that.
It's about embracing the unexpected.
Using it as a springboard.
For deeper understanding.
And data analysis isn't just about identifying themes and patterns, is it?
No, it's about making connections.
Seeing the relationships between different pieces of information.
It's not just about seeing the individual trees. It's about seeing the whole forest.
Understanding how everything is interconnected.
Exactly. And to help his students see that forest, Wu introduces a technique called mapping.
Mapping. Like drawing a treasure map.
That's That's a great analogy.
To lead you to the hidden insights in the data.
It's about creating a visual representation of your data.
Okay.
To help you see those connections more clearly.
So you're taking those messy notes, those scattered thoughts, organizing them into a coherent structure.
Exactly.
So the relationships become more apparent.
Wu shows them how to create concept maps, flowcharts, even timelines.
To visualize the data.
To make sense of the story it's telling.
It's like creating a roadmap for your research.
Precisely. And that roadmap can be incredibly helpful for the next stage.
Which is?
Drawing conclusions and making recommendations based on your findings.
So you've analyzed the data, you've mapped it all out.
It's time to answer those big research questions.
And offer some practical advice.
Exactly. Wu is very clear that the conclusions and recommendations should flow directly from the data analysis.
Okay, so no sudden leaps of logic?
No personal opinions injected into the research.
Just got to be grounded in the evidence.
Absolutely.
Let the evidence lead the way.
And Wu encourages his students to be both bold and balanced in their conclusions.
Bold and balanced.
Bold in the sense of not shying away from unexpected findings.
Controversial findings.
Yeah, but balanced in the sense of acknowledging the limitations of their research.
Right. Every study has its limitations.
And offering nuanced perspectives.
So be confident in your findings, but also humble.
Recognizing that you don't have all the answers.
There's always more to learn.
Always more to explore.
And when it comes to recommendations,
Wu emphasizes being actionable and specific.
So no vague generalizations.
Nope, he wants concrete steps.
That individuals or organizations can take.
To address the issues.
So it's not just about identifying problems.
No, it's about offering solutions.
Pointing to pathways forward.
Exactly. And those solutions should be tailored to the specific context of the case study.
Okay, so no one-size-fits-all solutions.
No, you have to consider the unique challenges.
The opportunities facing those individuals or organizations.
And offer recommendations that are relevant and feasible.
Make it practical.
It's about bridging that gap between research and practice.
Bring those findings to life in the real world.
And that's what's so inspiring about Wu's approach to teaching.
What is it?
He's not just teaching them to be researchers, you know?
He's teaching them to be change makers.
Exactly. Who can use their knowledge and skills to make a positive impact.
It's like he's showing them that research isn't just this academic exercise.
Right.
It's a powerful tool for understanding the world and making it better.
Can those recommendations, just like every other aspect of the case study, need to be communicated effectively?
Right. What good is brilliant research if nobody understands it?
Exactly. Wu spends a lot of time in his class talking about storytelling.
Storytelling.
And how to write a case study that is both informative and engaging.
So it's not just about the data and the analysis.
No, it's about the narrative.
Capturing the reader's attention.
Making those findings come alive.
You got to weave a good yarn.
Wu emphasizes that every case study has a story to tell.
Everyone.
Yeah, a narrative that can draw the reader in and make them care about the issues.
It's about turning those dry facts and figures into something human, something relatable.
Something that resonates.
That resonates, yeah.
Exactly. And Wu offers his students a whole range of techniques. He talks about using vivid language, crafting compelling characters,
building suspense,
creating a sense of momentum.
So it's like writing a novel.
Haha, it kind of is.
But with data.
You're taking the reader on a journey.
Through the twists and turns.
Until they arrive at a satisfying conclusion.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah.
And he encourages his students to think about their audience, to tailor their writing style to that specific context.
Exactly. If you're writing for a business audience, you might use a more direct style.
More concise.
Yeah. But for a general audience, you might need to be more descriptive.
More explanatory.
Precisely. It's about meeting the reader where they are.
And guiding them through the research.
In a way that is both clear and compelling.
Make those findings accessible and engaging.
So they can spark a conversation.
Inspire action.
And ultimately make a difference.
That's the goal.
Right.
That's the goal. Well said. I think that's a powerful message for all of us, whether we're researchers, writers.
Or just trying to communicate effectively.
It's about finding the story in our experiences.
Crafting a narrative that resonates.
Sharing our insights in a way that connects with others.
Absolutely.
This has been such an incredible deep dive.
Yeah, it really is.
Into Professor Wu's DBA class.
It's amazing how much you can learn from just like a set of class notes.
It's true. It's like we're getting this behind the scenes look at how,
top business minds are trained.
Yeah.
It's a real privilege to have access to this kind of material.
Absolutely.
And what makes it even more compelling is that Wu doesn't just talk about abstract concepts.
Right.
He uses real-world cases
To bring those ideas to life.
Yeah, to illustrate those ideas.
That's what I love about this deep dive.
Me too.
We're not just getting the theory, we're seeing how it plays out.
In actual businesses.
In the real world.
Exactly. So tell me, what are some of those cases that Wu uses in his class?
Okay, I'm curious.
Well, one that's particularly interesting is the story of this Taiwanese confectionery company called Yiyan.
Yiyan.
They're the ones who make those delicious sugar tower candies.
Oh, I know those.
The ones you see in convenience stores.
Yeah. Those little edible skyscrapers.
They're so cute.
I've definitely bought my fair share of those.
They're pretty irresistible.
Haha, they are.
And Wu uses Yiyan to illustrate how even a seemingly simple business decision can be analyzed through all these different theoretical lenses. So in this case, Yiyan decides to expand into Southeast Asia, kind of as a testing ground before tackling a larger market like Japan.
So it's a classic market expansion story.
Yeah.
But what makes it so interesting for research?
Well, Wu encourages his students to think about the different frameworks they could apply.
To understand this decision.
To understand this decision.
Okay.
For example, they could look at Yiyan through the lens of born global companies.
Right. We talked about those earlier.
Examining how their product and business model were inherently suited for international expansion.
Right. From the start.
From day one.
Those sugar towers, they're universally appealing.
They are.
Not tied to any specific cultural context.
Exactly. Or the students could analyze Yiyan using theories of internationalization.
Okay, like looking at the stages of entry.
Yeah, the choice of market, the strategic considerations.
So you're taking this real-world example and saying,
yeah,
okay, how could we use different academic tools to unpack this and understand it better?
Precisely. And Wu emphasizes that even within the same theoretical framework, there can be multiple perspectives.
Multiple ways of looking at it.
So for instance, when analyzing Yiyan's internationalization strategy, you could take a resource-based view.
A resource-based view? Okay.
Focusing on their unique capabilities and assets.
So what makes Yiyan stand out?
That's the key question.
What are their unique capabilities?
Right. What makes them different in the crowded confectionery market?
Yeah. What's their secret sauce?
Well, that would be for the research to uncover.
Fair enough.
Maybe it's their production efficiency.
Okay.
Their ability to adapt flavors to local tastes. Or their strong brand recognition in certain Asian markets.
It could be a combination of things.
Right. The research would delve into those factors.
It's not just describing what they did.
It's about the why.
It's analyzing why they were able to do it.
What contributed to their success?
Turning that business anecdote into a research-backed insight.
Exactly. Wu wants his students to dig deeper.
To look for those patterns and connections.
Build a compelling argument supported by evidence.
So that's Yiyan, the sugar tower company taking on the world.
That's right. What other cases does Wu bring into his class? Well, another one that highlights the challenges of innovation is the case of FETC.
FETC. Oh, right.
The Electronic Toll Collection Company.
The one's transforming into a digital powerhouse.
Exactly. Wu uses FETC to illustrate this concept of dual transformation.
De-transformation. Okay, what's that?
It's how companies can manage the process of innovating while simultaneously running their core business.
It's a tough balancing act.
It is. A lot of companies are facing this today.
You gotta keep the lights on.
While also building the future.
Yeah, keep the current business running smoothly.
While also innovating.
So in FETC's case, they're trying to build these new digital businesses.
Right, like smart parking, integrating with insurance.
While also making sure the toll collection system keeps working.
They're bread and butter.
It's like juggling two very different balls.
Oh, I like that.
One that's familiar, reliable, the other that's new, unpredictable.
And Wu points out the challenges of this balancing act,
Managing resources.
Navigating risks, aligning different parts of the organization.
Around that shared vision.
That's a lot to handle.
Sounds like a recipe for internal conflict if you're not careful.
It requires strong leadership.
And a clear strategy.
Wu highlights the importance of managing talent across both businesses.
Both the old and the new.
You need people with expertise in the core operations,
right,
but also those with digital skills, that entrepreneurial mindset.
To drive the new ventures.
It's like having a seasoned crew who knows the ship inside and out.
I love that.
Alongside a team of explorers venturing into uncharted waters.
That's a perfect analogy.
And Wu points out that FETC's case study provides this real-world example
of those dynamics in action,
showcasing both the challenges
and the strategic choices
along the way.
It's a great example of how even successful companies need to constantly adapt and evolve.
Stay ahead of the curve.
Oh, so that's FETC, juggling innovation and core operations.
Yeah.
What about a case that really dives into that human side of business?
Well, for that, Wu brings in his own work.
Okay.
Flagship Project loses its shine.
That's right. The one with the title that sounds like a warning sign.
It does, doesn't it?
For any ambitious project.
Remind me, what's the story behind this case?
Well, Wu's intentionally vague about the specifics.
Okay.
But he describes this media company going through a digital transformation. They have this big project.
The flagship initiative.
Starts with huge promise, but ultimately fails to deliver.
I think we've all experienced that feeling, right?
The disappointment when a project doesn't pan out the way you hoped.
Especially in the fast-paced world of business.
Yeah.
And what makes this case so compelling is that it's not about a single right or wrong decision.
It's more nuanced than that.
It's about those messy complexities of human interactions. The clash of personalities, the emotions that influence those big choices.
It's a good reminder that business isn't just about spreadsheets and algorithms.
There's a human element.
It's about people.
Relationships.
And Wu's case study brings those dynamics to life.
Through character dialogue.
Ooh, interesting.
So you've got the CEO who's the champion of the project.
Okay.
The skeptical CFO worried about the budget.
Right.
The passionate project manager pouring their heart and soul into it.
It's like a mini drama unfolding.
It kind of is. Full of tension, conflicting priorities.
And Wu uses this case to explore how those conflicts play out.
Yeah, the communication breakdowns.
The power struggles.
The emotional impact.
Of both success and failure.
It's a great reminder that even in the business world,
emotions matter.
Emotions matter.
Okay, so we've got Yian, the Sugar Tower Company. We've got FETC, juggling innovation and core business.
Right.
And we've got Flagship Project, exploring those human dynamics.
That's right.
Any other cases Wu brings into his class?
Yeah, actually, in addition to these cases that focus on large companies, Wu also introduces a case about a lesser-known Taiwanese company.
Oh, interesting.
Called Puqi-Lei.
Puqi-Lei. I don't think I've heard of them.
They're a distributor that helps bring foreign products to supermarket shelves in Taiwan.
Okay, so they're the link between global brands
and local consumers.
The gatekeepers of the supermarket aisles.
I like that. That's a good way to think about it.
So in this case study, the focus is on how Puqi-Lei has navigated the challenges of a rapidly changing retail landscape.
Exactly.
What are some of those challenges?
Well, think about the rise of e-commerce.
Okay.
The growing demand for local and sustainable products, and the increasing competition.
A lot to handle.
It is. The grocery industry is constantly evolving.
So how does Puqi-Lei's case study help us understand these changes?
It gives us a window into how distributors are adapting
to these new realities,
the strategic decisions they're making,
and the impact of those choices.
It's like a behind-the-scenes look
at how those products we see on the shelves actually got there.
Exactly. And Wu uses this case to highlight the importance of data analysis and triangulation. Using multiple sources of data to get a complete picture.
Right. You don't want to base your conclusions on just one piece of information.
You need data from financial statements, market research, interviews.
To get a more holistic view.
To build a comprehensive understanding of the company's challenges, their strategies.
It's amazing how all these different pieces come together to tell a story.
It is.
About a business.
And that's the beauty of case study research.
What is it?
It lets us explore the complexities of the business world.
The forces driving change.
The strategic decisions companies make to thrive.
It's a reminder that business isn't just about numbers.
It's about people.
Relationship.
That interplay of innovation and adaptation.
Oh, I love that.
And what's so impressive about Wu's approach is that he's not just teaching his students about business. He's teaching them how to think critically.
To be problem solvers.
To use their knowledge to make a real impact.
It's inspiring.
It is.
To see how he's empowering these future business leaders.
To be analytical and compassionate, strategic and ethical.
I think that's a great note to end on.
I agree.
This deep dive into Wu's DBA class has been fantastic.
It has.
A reminder that learning is a lifelong journey.
It is.
And by embracing curiosity, rigor,
and a willingness to learn from our mistakes,
we can all make a positive contribution to the world.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for guiding us through this exploration.
Then my pleasure.
Of Professor Wu's class and the world of case study research.
It's been fun.
It has. And to our listeners, remember, there's always more to learn.
More to explore.
More ways to apply these insights to your own lives and careers.
So until next time.
Keep those aha moments coming.